Welcome back, Midwest Long Range. Today we're going to be back on the CZ again. Last time we free floated the barrel channel, we put the Arca rail on the front from 360 Precision, the weighted system. And we went ahead and just kind of did a quick deal to get our comb height corrected. Today we've got the pillar set in from Pete's Pillars. We are going to go ahead and do a pillar bedding job on this today, and it's all DIY. We're not using anything fancy. We got Dremel, we got a hand drill, tape, etc. So stick with us, I'll show you how we're going to do it.
Well, we're going to start off on the stock. First, we're going to use existing action screw holes for pilot holes. We're going to just kind of incrementally step up the size until we get to where our 1/2-inch pillar is going to fit. We're going to give it a little bit of clearance. That way we have enough room to get the epoxy in there and make it set up. Basically going to wind up drilling this hole out to about a 9/16.
Ain't no going back now.
Ain't no going back now.
Put a hand on it. All right, so I guess Dalton's kind of got the action prepped up. Tell us what you did, buddy.
I went ahead and used this dye wax like I talked about earlier, got it all greased up, and everywhere, where the contact is going to be on the stock and potentially where bedding could possibly ooze out. We don't want to get a mechanical lock with it and cinch this action in there for good. Filled up with putty on the crevices and holes, talked about that. Now I've got the pillars, I've got them trimmed to length as I mentioned earlier with the screws or the all thread and nuts provided with the Pete's Pillars kit. I've got these kind of timed out where I want them. What I mean by that is the front one's got a recess for the mag well. You want to try to get that straight as you can. And I'm trying to give myself enough room all the way around the pillar that I'm kind of centered up on the all thread. I'm not up again on one side or the other, just true and center. Other than that, cinch them down. We're getting ready to lay some epoxy and put it in.
Now explain, once we get the action in the stock, we're not going to install the bottom metal, right? Explain what the zip ties are here for.
So these zip ties here is going to be what's going to secure the stock in. A lot of different things you can use. I've seen guys, probably the most popular thing is surgical tubing. A lot of the kits will come with surgical tubing. You can tie it in a knot. It'll kind of keep a constant soft pressure on it. And from what I understand, like I said, I'm not a professional at this, but done a handful of them. You don't want to introduce any stress if at all possible. You just kind of more or less want the natural fit in the way of the receiver to set in the stock naturally, so you're not inducing stress when you torque it down with your action screws. You're not going to bow it one side or the other. And that's what we're going to try to do here. We're going to try to install these pillars with as little stress as possible. We're going to use these zip ties to just secure it in stock, make sure it doesn't move while it's setting up, and that's about it.
And don't forget our tape donut.
Me and Chris went ahead and measured the barrel contour, which these varmint barrels in the CZs are roughly 860, seem to be true in our case. All we done is get a rough measurement of our channel, the radius of it, and kind of more or less added to the barrel what that radius dimension is, and we taped it. That way it's going to hold the barrel true and in line down the stock and keep the barrel from sagging and actually bumping the stock at the tip. Whenever we go to set the epoxy, this will keep all that in line and true, and hopefully we'll have a good product when we're done. We're going to be using some Devcon plastic steel epoxy. This is what comes with the Pete's Pillars kit. Used it a couple times before and had really good success with it. If you guys can't find this, another good one to look for is Marine Tex. You can get it on Amazon in a couple different sizes. Basically just kind of filler epoxy for marine applications, fiberglass boats, etc. It works really well too. I'm going to squirt this out, get it all stirred around, mixed up, and then we're going to apply a little bit of heat to it, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Alright guys, I got this mixed up with my pseudo stir stick here, which I disinfected with some rubbing alcohol. Try not to introduce any contaminants into the epoxy. You really want to stir this stuff up for a good solid minute or better. Probably wouldn't hurt to go a little bit more. Make sure it's stirred up, incorporated good. Now, thanks to Haley, Chris's wife, I'm going to borrow this pretty pink hair dryer. Now, I'm actually going to heat this up a little bit. The reason being is any air pockets that I introduce in this stuff, when I start it, I want to get out, because if those air pockets stay in the epoxy and dry, you will have voids in the epoxy. Just a little tip I picked up on, I believe Chad Dixon, LRI, has the video. Good guy to watch, good channel on YouTube or Facebook. Anyway, so we're going to heat this up a little bit, stir it up some more, make sure we get it all mixed up, and then we'll start laying it in stock. Alright guys, I got our epoxy laid in the holes there for the top as good as we can. Try not to make too big of a mess. See a spot right there I'm going to get. Alright, here we go. Try not to wiggle too much. Try to find that lug. Make sure the barrel's seated good. Now, we're going to lay our zip ties down. So anyway, a little bit's happened since the last time you saw this. The pillars are now glued in place. As you can see, it's been cleaned up. The wood's been cleaned up, removed a little bit of material. It didn't take a whole lot off. It just more or less took a 50 grit sanding drum on a Dremel and kind of followed the contour and the lines in the inlet. Removed the paint, got some fresh material, and then I wormholed it there, more or less. Just drilled some little holes with a ball nose mill on the Dremel. Nothing really special. More or less just kind of giving somewhere for that epoxy to go to get in the stock and make a mechanical lock when it sets up. One other thing I'm going to touch on is right here. Your 457s and 5s and a lot of these 22 receivers, the smaller size receivers, don't have a recoil lug. And I know we have one there in the back, but they really need extra support up in front where the barrel is the barrel puts a lot of weight and stress on this front action screw in that pillar. And I've done a handful of these, by no means an expert, but I've actually done this little barrel pad, we'll call it, trick, where you actually dam this off, fill this with epoxy, and then let the barrel set and mash it down, so you actually kind of wind up bedding the first inch of the barrel. And it actually seems to really promote good accuracy and keeps the barrel and the stock and everything happy with each other. And I know that's kind of against what a lot of us know is free floating, but anyway, just something there you can try, leave it out, whatever. Like I said, I've had good luck with it in the past, so I'm doing it on this one.
All right, so we got the pillars bedded with the actions bedded, all the floating's done, we're weighted, the whole 9 yards. We got a good optic. All the footage you just watched in this video, a couple of months old now probably, and we've been shooting this gun for a little while. I've shot it in matches personally. I don't ever finish super high on the list, but I did middle to upper middle of the pack with it against Voodoos and everything else. So for what I believe, this is a complete success so far. We're not 100% done with it yet either. To talk about the accuracy and then the improvements we got, from the bedding and the floating, did we just see a dramatic size decrease in groups? No, not really. What I did see is an increase in consistency of the size of those groups. I don't have as many just way out there flyers as I used to have. So, consistency, sometimes I'll take that over just full-blown accuracy. If I know what my rifle's capable of, then I can make adjustments to accommodate for that. And I do believe we've achieved it in this project and staying at a very low dollar amount for what we have here to play with. We are still going to put in the adjustable cheek piece. That'll be a little bit later video. I haven't done that yet. It's been shooting really good, so we just have kind of been lazy and working on some other projects, as you may have seen on the channel. And we got a lot of other really cool ones coming. We're going to get back down the centerfire rabbit hole coming real soon, okay? So let's get this thing on the range real quick. We're going to shoot some groups at 50 and 100 yards just to show you guys. But again, you know, we didn't see those dramatic decreases in size, just consistency. So let's get it out here. We'll shoot it real quick. We'll wrap this deal up. All right, 50 yards. We got the CZ up here on the bench. SK rifle match, red and black box. We'll do the KYL at 100 here in a minute. Oh, well, I slung one. That's gonna be what it's gonna be. It probably needs cleaned pretty bad. It is shooting pretty good right there up the middle. I've probably got, I don't know, I probably got 2 matches on this gun without it being cleaned, I'd imagine. It's probably in dire need, but we're gonna take it down there to 100 and see what it does. Other than that, here we go. All right, so we're set up now down on the 100-yard berm. We're gonna shoot the KYL rack, and let's see how we do with it. Bedded, floated, well, pillars bedded, and the action's bedded. Here we go. And again, there we go, I missed. Oh, right off the corner. Oh, I missed it again. There it goes. Well, that's all I got. I made it down to the 7th target in 10 rounds. But usually we shoot a little better. We'll get her cleaned up. We'll get it back out here. We'll shoot it again. We'll see what happens. But that's it. This is part 4 of the DIY CZ project. And the next one, we'll put the cheek rest in finally. The last bit of the puzzle. And that's all I got for today, guys. So stay safe. Keep shooting. This Midwest Long Range. We'll see you next time.